Here we go. Everything you need to know about the budget, everything in just a few minutes. We started off not with 50 Shades of Grey, but just with the one shade of grey for George's tie. First up in the budget really was watching out for Euro problems. The disorderly exit of Greece from Europe was what we needed to watch out for. And increased trade with Asia was mentioned a couple of times. George then went on to mention that we are moving very much towards full employment in the UK. So that was a thing that got mentioned quite a lot. Dealing with debt was another little phrase that popped out straight away, which translates, I suppose, as continued cuts in spending, if you want to be a bit more cynical about it. There was then talk of apprenticeships combined with this increased employment, which made me think, you're hired. The farming news from the budget was that farmers are going to be able to average out their incomes over 5 years for tax purposes, so rather pleasant for them. The new nugget, the pound coin, the 12-sided version, the bane of shopping trolley manufacturers and machine manufacturers everywhere, was also talked of as well. Fantastic news though that the war bonds are going to be all redeemed at last, going right back to things like the South Sea Bubble and the First World War. And Mr. Osborne made a joke at the expense of the other side on that one as well. Gags aplenty and many laughs in this budget, I think, was the thing there. Mr. Deputy Speaker had to come in a number of times, tell everybody to hush, so he sort of piped up to tell them to pipe down. Budget surplus of 0.2%, forecast surplus of 0.3%, we'll see what it is. Inflation at its lowest rate for over half a century. What else did we have? Budget bingo. Nobody had the word Agincourt down, another joke there made. Excellent news, 1.25 billion on mental health services for children and new mums. That was nice. Lifetime allowance for pensions down from 1.25 million to 1 million. That's about more than a 40% drop in that in the last 4 years, I think. A bit of mental maths there. So that's going to need a little bit of looking at for some clients. Tightening up of a few potential sort of abuses of tax. Entrepreneur relief, the so-called Google tax, overseas profits, and a review of deed of variations on estate planning coming up. And another joke there at the expense of the other side, as well as the kitchen joke, which came out as well. No more ability for banks to avoid tax on compensation payments to missold customers. That's brilliant. About time that came in. Can't believe how that was allowed to happen in the first place. We also then had me, during the budget, thinking, is it going to go over an hour? And I think it popped in at 59 minutes in the end. So I should really have got my cup of tea before we started, because I was rather thirsty after 30 minutes. Croydon, Inverness, Cambridge. It wasn't the Radio 1 Roadshow, but just a number of benefits for regions announced. £100 million toward driverless technology, at which point I imagined Lewis Hamilton sitting with his head in his hands. That can't have been good news for him. The annual tax return is to be abolished and digital tax accounts are to come in. So hopefully that tied in with this announcement about further tax simplification, heard that one before, should be good. So digital tax accounts, looking forward to that. People starting to ask though, what is the accountant going to have as a role in a simplified tax system with digital accounts? Yeah, maybe not good news for them. Cheers, usual thing, the one everybody was waiting for. Penny off a pint was the little sound bite there. Sound bite budget, I would have called this. Cider duty down as well. Wine duty frozen though. Tax shouldn't be taxing was the final sound bite I wanted to mention there as well. Class 2 national insurance contributions to be abolished, said the Money Advice Service. Personal allowance up, moving towards this futuristic 12,500, so 10,600 now, 10,800 in the future, and the higher rate threshold up more than inflation. First time that's been done for a while. That's been lagging behind, so that's good. And then of course the big news for financial services, 4 new saving steps. Number 1, the leaked mentioned beforehand, access to annuities and the removal of tax, a punitive tax on that. So that's good for those people that want to get that. A more flexible ISA system, talking about the eligible assets that go in an ISA, but also the great thing about it was that if you take money out in a year, you'll be able to put it back again. That's brilliant. The third one, quite a biggie here, a help to buy first time buyer ISA. You put some money in, the government will put some money in, help first time buyers towards a deposit. Gotta say though, that could be the death knell for the cash ISA, which frankly I've been saying for clients of Green Financial since 2011, why have a cash ISA anyway? And that combined with the final thing, the personal savings allowance, the first £1,000 of any savings interest going to be completely tax-free. As I say, I reckon that is almost it for cash ISAs for most people, not all people. So yeah, that was it. 59 minutes. That was the budget. That was all you need to know. Everything you need to know. Except for all the small print, which will be coming out, which I will have out to clients very soon indeed, in the next day or so, along with your complimentary tax tables. Thanks for watching.